what a brand isn't, and you know, as my intro said, I built this marketing communications company in Toronto for 37 years, and I literally can't walk down the street that I don't bump into somebody either worked for me or a customer of mine or somebody I've touched, and they said, Ted, what are you doing today? What are you doing these days? Old guy, I guess is what they're really asking. And I'm saying, you know what? I'm brand coaching. Brand coaching. We have a nice logo. Ted, we have a nice logo. You should come and see it. Or I'd like you to meet our advertising agency. That's their extent of brand. A brand, it ain't the logo. It ain't just the advertising. It is everything. Or a brand is what people think of you. Because what people think of you or of your company is made up of every single thing, experience, touch point, what they've heard, what they see. It all comes back to what they think. So branded ain't the logo. It's every touch point either builds or destroys brand equity. And brand equity, just so we get the terminology right, is all the good thoughts. There's wonderful brand equity today about Apple. The brand equity of Toyota is doing this. Now, the great thing about that was they have equity through the moon, and so they're burning it up a little bit here, and we hope they fix it before they do this.
What about Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods. The two T's, Tiger and Toyota. That's right. So it is with employer brands. You know, it has to be like this. Brands are more critical today than ever before. I love this image. Just look at it for a second. Yeah, yeah, you've been trying to find an appointment there probably. This is by a famous Canadian photographer, Edward Burdinsky. I think I'm saying his name right. But he photographs, you know, commercialism around the world. Incredible things of like oil fields and this sort of thing. But I love this photograph for my point. This is the global marketplace, a snapshot of the kind of thing we live in every day, all day. That's what's going on. That isn't what was going on when my dad was growing up. This is what's going on for us today. Look at the identities in there. Look at the brands. There's even a damn truck turning the corner here with Walmart on it. But look at here. Let's just come back to this. I deliberately put a number obscured in the middle just to continue this intensity of the confusion that's going on. But 235 makes and models of automobile are marketed in Ontario. And with that 235 makes and models, there's a guy or a lady that has the job of getting into our head, telling us about it. She and he are bonused on getting us to think about their product. One category, cars, 235 of those people banging away on us, standing up with blocking charts and saying, this is where we're going to run our advertising. This is what we're going to do. In terms of another category, cell phones. We've got 5, and this, of course, has grown recently. We just added Wind and a couple of others. There's more now, but 5 cell phone providers. And every 3 months, they come out with 6 new models and 32 different promotions. And they're all trying to get to us. And they're all banging away on our heads. It feels like this picture. And then Loblaws, God bless them, have moved from a shopping experience where there was 11,000 items in a store to where there's 43,000 items in an average big Loblaw store today. For something, I don't know about you, but it's not a favorite, and I have less time to do it. And so now I've got 43,000 choices. All this, those are 3 categories: cars, mobility, and groceries. But if we look at them all the categories of business, including jobs, people hunting for jobs, seekers, people advertising for jobs, that kind of thing. There's like 3,500 messages coming at us, living in an urban environment in Canada today, that we are getting bombarded with. So, like the visual of this picture, there's 3,500 messages coming at us. What do we pay attention to? What gets through to us? It's very difficult. If you're the advertiser, it is extremely difficult. And if you're looking to hire people, it's extremely difficult. There are new rules for getting through. Okay, we've gone from we've gone from the tools to the rules. And consistency is a really big one with me. Cars again, just because we're on this topic. Tell me about this car. What makes this different than any of those other 235 that are advertised? Safety. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows that. Safety. These guys, everybody at Volvo understands. They've been doing this now for over 60 years. Volvo actually owns the patent, or had the development rights and have sold the patents on every major development. You know, the windshields that don't shatter, seat belts. When I went to the art college, I had a 61 Volvo that had a shoulder belt when my dad's American car didn't even have a lap belt yet. You know, I mean, it was this kind of thing. If there's an accident on the road in Sweden that shows up like ambulance, fire, and Volvo engineers, literally. And they document it all. They use those live, real crashes for learning about it. You go to their website, you can post how Volvo saved my life. And there are some spectacular stories on that. And even though Volvo, like every other car manufacturer in the world today, is going through a downturn in sales because of the economy, and they're trying to cut prices, there isn't one engineer, there isn't one pricing guy who's saying, let's get rid of that extra seatbelt. Let's make the brakes thinner. They understand what their brand is, and they defend their position. And that is so important. Okay, yell out what these guys are all about. What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Right, found on road dead, fix or repair daily. This was, and of course, they're working very hard at changing this image, and Ford is doing a pretty good job at coming out of this. But the image has been, these were the guys that invented the automobile. They had, in terms of a market, Mario, can you imagine, 100% market share. We invented the car. And they went somewhere from there, all down. Because there's no clarity around who they were or what they were about. And they're people inside their organizations. And who would you hire? At Volvo, you hire guys that are concerned about safety. At Ford, anybody. So, the truth is that the best brands, like the most interesting people, have a keen sense of self. People are brands. Tiger Woods was a brand. So, consistency. I just want to talk on this piece, make a point of it. Consistency, old friends are a brand's worst enemy. Now, what do I mean by that? People inside of organizations, and think of the organizations you work with. At Volvo, they would love to talk about some sexy car. Everybody wants to talk about something different because they've been exposed to it too so long. Do we have to be safe again? In my little the introduction Gab gave me about Ted got Energizer to not use the bunny. My firm used to do the promotional work for Energizer every year for all the retailers. And so at the beginning of the year, we'd bring them in. We'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do for Canadian Tire. Here's what we're going to do for Walmart. Here's what we're going to do blah, 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 for all the retailers in terms of the year's program. And some executive on that team would stand up and say, do we have to use that goddamn bunny again? Do we still have to use the goddamn bunny? Well, think about it. Who's exposed to more bunny stuff than anybody?
Kids.
Yeah, they go home late at night, right? They get home late. Their kids have got all the bunny stuff in the bedroom when they're saying goodnight to them, right? The jammas, every promotion they've ever done is in the kids' bedroom. Their office is covered in all this stuff. And they just want to do something new. Imagine if you worked for Marineland, those of you who are here in Ontario. You lean over the fence and say, I work for Marineland, and the guy kills you because of that jingle. Right? Every year, right? So think about it. So they're the worst enemy. And then new friends are the worst, next worst. They show up and they want to do something brand new. They think they've been hired because of what they did at their last job, and they just bring it over and say, okay, let's do it. Let's change all that. You know that sort of red stuff we've been using for Staples and that button thing? We got some new ideas. Or here's where it happens. I love this. And Canadian Tire is in your example, and it's in mine today. And I told this when I spoke to the management team. I said, what are you doing, guys? You know, every year, the biggest, most important retail season rolls around just before Christmas. And at our house, my wife would say, geez, I guess I got to do the Christmas cards, because she saw her first commercial from Canadian Tire. What was it? Give like Santa, save like Scrooge, right? They own that space. So this is getting maybe a little old. Who remembers that? Yeah, okay, great, okay. I didn't see many nods. I see lots of hands. They own that space, and every year they said that, and everybody kind of went to the basement, got out the lights, and and then you went to Canadian Tire because you forgot that they could buy Christmas presents there every year. I mean, they're selling tires and hardware stuff, and oh yeah, I should go to Canadian. They own that space, most important space, with a fantastic icon. It didn't say Christmas, so it wasn't religious, and it used that wonderful Scrooge story. They hired a new agency, went to Chicago. Nobody in the room put their hand up when they said, have you ever heard of, give like Santa, save like Scrooge? They said, no. And creative guys, it's only creative if it's never been done before. Right? They want something brand new, and God bless them. We need something brand new a lot. So they killed it. Old friends of the worst enemy. They gave that up. And now they fight with every other retailer at Christmas for some sort of way to break through and say something different. Molson, these guys, coming back to HR, they reward sales guys who've sold the most kegs up in Northern Ontario. Say, come on in and run this brand. Here, why don't you take over Canadian? It's only a $50 bazillion brand. You maybe know nothing about marketing. You learn marketing in business school? That's good. So you think brand's the logo. There it is. That's all you have to do. And they come in and they say, you know what? I want to go on one of those shoots with all those good-looking girls in the bikinis and the bear. Yeah, let's do one of those. And we all say, well, wait a minute. It must have been a mistake, but the last time you did that last campaign, I am Canadian. We kind of like that. And he says, yeah, but I'm a new friend. I got buddies I got to show that I could, I'm going to invite them to the shoot with the girls. Let's do this. 3 times, 3 different guys killed that idea, and they brought it back because we said, hey, we like that. So these brand new friends at Molson, and now they can't even say I am Canadian because it's owned by Americans. The oldest brewery brand in North America, we pissed it away with the beer. Consistency. And these guys, who knows these guys? This is, again, a Toronto example, but watch for it out west. Extreme Whistle. From a couple of guys that had experience with other breweries where they had too many products, too many changes, too many. They created a new brewery down here and they've taken over the railroad, the old railroad roundhouse, and they've turned it into their brewery. And their positioning is do one thing really, really well. So Volvo, I didn't mention Volvo's, their position is safety. How they say it is for life, which is a wonderful way to engage all the thoughts around it. It's about going to grandma's on Sunday too, but it's about getting there safely. So in the case of these guys, they say do one thing really, really well, and that's all they do. They have one brand, and boy, oh boy, do they work that hard, and they create a fantastic experience when you go down to the brewery, or if you buy a case of the beer. It has a fantastic handle that really speaks to that, doing it well. The bottle, they have deliberately not gone to a screw cap because it hurts on the lips compared to a beautiful snap cap, And so every single thing they've done is for the experience and the consistency of doing things well. So, in summary, strong brands are more critical than ever. Most HR managers don't get what a brand is and their employer brand and how to use it. Most job seekers don't do a good job. This is the next level, right? They don't present themselves well. Absolutely don't present themselves well. My kids, I've got to tell you, do great resumes. Might be a shock to you, but they do great resumes. They've been asked by their friends to help because people don't know how to do it. So, like you guys are going to be that help. Fantastic. We understand, and, we collectively understand we can be the brand coach. You guys are now deputy brand coaches to get out there and drive this. Massive talent shortage. Brands more important than ever to cut through, done well. Employers and job seekers have a lot to learn about using their brands. And you, Workopolis, have the tools and the talent to coach them. Thank you. Thanks.